Okay, we should be audible. We got the music. Got the controller. We got the replays. What we don't have is a scoreboard up because it's under my camera. So let's quickly fix that. Where should we move this? Just to the other side? Okay, it's a bit hard to make out because it's white on white, but there you go. So this is Daffy versus Druze, stage 3. So it's a choice of the two decks between Mole, Cam, Wire, and Lizard, Snake, Wolf, Machine Gun. The Druze has chosen the Lizard, Snake deck. Oh, and Daffy is starting out with a 4-farm double Lizard attack. Now the Druze hasn't scouted that. It's a long map, so it's going to take him a while to. Both ones are already up. This could be a quick win for Daffy. And the Druze is on 2 lives, so it's possible he gets knocked out here if he loses both games. And he still hasn't scouted, which means he's so far behind here. He's gone for 8 farms. Daffy already has 2 lizards on the way. And the Druze missed it! Oh, this is so bad. And he can't even, he has to walk further to burrow back because the campfire was shooting him. Daffy's already got 2 farms. He's got more lizards on the front line. I don't know why he's running. He can just keep attacking. I kind of think Daffy's already won this. I mean, that is such huge damage. And it's so hard to defend with lower numbers of lizards. You can kind of do it with squirrels, but lizards can't really defend when they're in lower numbers. Game 1 is going to be over before people get here. Just this rush, Druze completely missed it. If he can get up to 6 lizards of his own, maybe bait Daffy into a rough fight. He's still so far behind on army though. He's completely supply blocked. Yeah, this is... well, that's a quick first game. The Druze is down to his last life. Okay. Let's see if he can at least survive. Make it to the next stage. At the moment we've got, oh no, we do have a few who've been killed. Is Cater dead? I thought he, or did he just leave? Sunstroke, Cater and Hoffy have all been defeated. So far Hoffy is the one who got the furthest. I haven't managed to kill anyone yet, but in all fairness, I've had all the high ranking people. Okay, let's see if the Druze can make it to the next stage. He's not going to get rushed again. Both players going up to 8 farms. Ugh. Apologies for that. Okay. Daffy sneaking out his moles. This is a bit of an all-in play as Druze goes for his cams. If Daffy times this right though, he might be able to just get on the mill. I think it takes 9 moles to go to rush an 8 farm mill. It used to be that you could do it with 6. I don't know if that's the case anymore. But it looks like Daffy's just like building up moles here. Drews hasn't scouted it. He should have noticed that he's seen Daffy run down here a few times and not come up. Now Drews isn't at home. He's got this other mill up, but he's got his cams here. So he's going to get some damage done. But he needs to... Oh god, this mill could just get burst down with only 1 cam here. As it stands, Drews is starving. He's going to have to sell something. These cams just can't catch up to the moles. With 3, if it wasn't for the moles, it'd be possible for the Drews to just rush the mill. He's going to need to sell a cam, Warren. The Drews needs to go in. He needs to spend one of these chameleons, because he's going to lose this chameleon anyway, so he might as well like get some value out of it. But no, he's going to starve. I don't think he's realised. If he's not realised, or he's given up. And Raton makes quick work of Nadruz. And that is the 4th death. Phew. Alright. So we're going on to Colaru. Now Colaru is made of sterner stuff. Plus he has 2 more lives to work with. So Colaru should make it through no matter what. Drews is dead. Now Colaru could lose 2 lives here, but he will make it through. Since it's capped, you can only lose 2 lives in the early stages at most. They've gone with the mole deck. Anyone moling? Nothing yet. Oh, my nose. I feel like I've been snorting coke. I haven't. That's what it feels like. Okay, 7 farm cams from Daffy. What is Colaru doing? He's like on 7 farms and 200 food. Is he just gonna put down loads of moles? Yeah, is this gonna work? I mean, Daffy knows that Colaru's gonna be here. He's got his cams up, can build his own moles. I mean, Colaru's a farm behind here and losing value on these moles already, so he's pretty all in. And Colaru's going straight for the mill, but look at how quickly these moles die. The mill doesn't even go to half health. Okay, Colaru's having to double down. He wants to come in while Daffy's out. And Daffy is moving out. Can Colaru just build this up quickly enough? 3, 4. It's going to turn into a base race. But it looks like Colaru has the advantage here, since the mill's already injured. Plus he was closer. And he's got more moles. This looks like... Yeah, that actually worked for Colaru. I didn't expect it to. after the initial loss. I think he managed to mind game Daffy into thinking that he'd burrowed back, but instead he doubled down. And he's actually able to just push through. Alright. And that moves us on to stage 4. Rush, I believe, is on his last life. We are dealing with epicosity now. I always kind of forget what the rules are for this. Deck size 5, map size extra large. Only squirrels, arty and tier 3 units allowed. Okay. Alright, here we go. Squirrel, boar, badger, owl, wolf against squirrel, badger, owl, wolf, artillery. Now, I don't think the artillery is particularly good in this tier 3 versus tier 3 matchup. I don't think the boar is particularly good either though, so let's see how they work together. Boar and the badger. I think the badger is great in this matchup. It's such good DPS. It hard counters the owl, pairs up with the wolf nicely. The only thing that's really good against it is the fox, or potentially mass squirrel. So I think the badger is really valuable in this matchup. It pairs with the other tier 3 units so well. Especially since fox is relatively unpicked due to the presence of owl. I think everyone has taken the owl in this matchup. Squirrel, owl and wolf, I think, are 3 units you basically guarantee you take. Now, here, it looks like Rush was trying to get some artillery shenanigans going. Oh, but what's this hidden mill from Epicosity doing? Now, Rush hasn't scouted it. He does have a problem with scouting. Known issue. He also tends to be quite greedy. Squirrel, owl, wolf, fox, plus either boar or arty. No, I'd go squirrel, owl, wolf, fox, badger. Okay, well, no tier 3s as of yet. And another ninja from Epicosity over here. What is his plan? Okay, 2 tier 3s down. Wolf Badger. Rush still hasn't scouted. What's Rush planning to do over here? Is he wanting to put a tier 3 down? I mean, look at all the time he spent waiting here. He should have at least, like, gone in and do a scout, and then he'd be able to burrow back and put down a tier 3. This forward Warren was very oddly placed, and it gets picked off quite easily. Okay. The Warrens are built for Epicosity, but he's completely supply blocked. Now, it should be said that the Badger-Wolf combo is going to absolutely destroy this owl that Rush is building. Epicosity does sell down on squirrels to get the Wolf Badger going. If Rush was scouting, he could see this and push in with his higher number of squirrels. But you can see from his commander, he's just not scouting. It's a massive flaw in this game. You need information. I think, gentlemen, you're really overestimating how much the Badger needs pigeons in this scenario. The way you can get away with doing pigeonless Badger is by pairing it up with other tier 3s to tank for it, which this playstyle highly encourages. Okay, it's so bad for Rush here. He hasn't done any scouting. And now the Wolf Badger is out with equal number of squirrels. Oh, now Rush decides to go scouting. This Badger's just going to shred through the owl. The Badger does go down, but there's so many squirrels supporting it that the Badger got its work done. Although Epicosity could have kept it alive. I doubt it will matter. Rush is building another owl. Epicosity's just pushing through with sheer tier 1 value. Has sold his wolf. Maybe Rush could bring us back? With the owl up, as long as he micros it a bit safer this time. But he's just waiting now. I mean, at least he goes back and scouts his space. But he shouldn't be waiting. And he's still not scouted. He doesn't know how many farms down here. He doesn't know anything about this tier 3. He doesn't even know how many tier 1 Warrens are down here. Instead he's just sitting back and trying to build up more of his tier 3. But he knows Epicosity's coming in with a Badger Wolf combo. So why is he committing so hard to the owls that lose to it? He's also not got his owl at present, which means this should go to the wolf buffed squirrel army. And with so many squirrels dead, Rush is going to struggle to deal with this Badger. Don't take your owl that far forward! What are you doing? What is that owl micro? I mean, he gets the wolf, but why did he try and chase with the owl? Owl can't chase down a Badger. Especially not a Badger that's being wolf buffed. I don't want to be mean, but that was really bad. That was really poor micro. And from here, Epicosity should just be able to clear up. I mean, yeah, there's no way Rush can come back from this now. He's just refusing to surrender out of stubbornness. He'd killed all the squirrels. Like, that was a really bad play by Rush. I don't know what he was thinking would happen. He definitely had a chance. But he also, like, Rush needed to be scouting a lot more. He didn't pick the right units to go for. Once he saw that Epicosity was going for the Badger, he should have maybe either gone for more squirrels or gone for his own Badger. Like, the owl didn't really help. Having his owl separate to attack this mill that was empty was probably unnecessary. And he really shouldn't have tried to chase the badger down with an owl. He's got these artilleries to shoot at the squirrels, but it's not going to matter, the squirrels can just push through. And I think that's Rush dead. I believe that was his last life. Yep. Okay. Okay, so moving on to the child, who only has 2 lives himself. Child is in danger here. Hello, Wild. And no owl from Child. Okay, so Squirrel, Boar, Badger, Owl, Wolf from Epicosity. Same deck he took against Rush. Seems to be his favoured composition. Child with Squirrel, Boar, Badger, Wolf, Artillery. It's very curious. It is a bit odd to not take Owl. I suppose you could justify it because you expect either Boar or Badger to be in your opponent's deck. But then why not take Fox? I don't know what the arty is for still. Artillery is just really bad in this matchup, I feel. I feel that whoever takes an artillery is kind of giving themselves a handicap. And taking Boar and artillery is confusing. Child in a tier 3 based game is going to 5 farm triple. How typical. Is he actually going to pull this off though? Because it's such a long distance for him to run. Like, Epicosity has got both of his warrens up already. Child is maybe going to get 1 pig. Okay, Child does have some tempo advantage, but he's taken a bad engagement here. His units were all in a straight line coming into Epicosity's concave single file. And now Epicosity has managed to leverage his greater eco to build an extra warren, while Child is spending money on a mill. This will let him put down forward warrens and heal up his units. He should probably think about coming around this side to try and avoid Epicosity's army, since Epicosity is holding here. I doubt we'll see a proxy arty, since Child wouldn't be able to realistically afford or defend it. It looks like he wants to go back and put down some of his own farms. He's just going to put the farm here. That's a pretty high risk. What is he doing? He's going for the proxy arty. This is not going to work. And even if it does work, there, it's not going to even do much. Like, it can't actually pressure this mill. I don't think there's any way Child holds this. He's got half the squirrel count, even with the mill tanking. Yep, he has to run. Now he's behind on tempo, on army, and on eco. Shish, there was a path there. I mean, you did scout it. Okay, this forward warren is going to go down. Charge units are a lot more bunched up as well, and they're outnumbered. Child is probably going to get run over here. Yep, all his warrens go down. The mill won't be far behind. This will put Child on his last life. I don't usually like to update the score preemptively, but I think it's pretty certain that Child is going to lose that. Yeah, it makes sense. It happens to me quite a lot. A lot of my meat games where there's a path into my base that I see, I scout, but I just completely forget about. And then meat takes advantage of it and kills me with a lizard run by. Okay. Is Chard going to go for another squirrel rush? He really shouldn't. Not on this map. It's so far. He's got to go through a campfire. Hey, Goris. A more reasonable mill to do proxy artillery strats from. Though, if he took this one, he might even be able to sneak this one out. No, because he's checking it. Although he might not check it every time. Plus, it would be a bit long-winded for Epicosity to build up his squirrels, push through the campfire and come round. So Child might have been able to hold it. And if he did take this mill with an arty, he could effectively cut off the rest of the map. Even if he couldn't put much pressure onto this, because he's got no high ground vision. And I don't think there's be range anyway, even if you put it, maybe if you put it on right up against the wall it could reach the mill, but other than that, I don't think so. Still, might actually be worth going for here. Well, Epicosity going for a ninja mill. This is a very ninja mill type of base. As I said, when I said effectively cut off the map here, Epicosity's answer to that would be to just like move his commander back here and take a mill, because Child can't move his army and hold this line at the same time. Okay, Child going straight for the Badger Rush. Epicosity has not scouted it. This is Child's last life, so he's taking a big risk here. That's a good one. I'm so bad at fucking foxes. That's 23. Moron built itself out of existence. I don't even remember saying that, but who likes to fuck foxes? I mean, they do seem to be the most popular for the foxes, and wolves seem to be the most common recipients of massive amounts of furry art. Stuffed with stuffing. Anyway, the badger's here. How's Chard's micro? Doing alright so far. He's got the rev up, he needs to keep it. Does he retreat? He's not. He maybe should. Badger's got no support. It's running. Oh, with this mill here, the Badger does get some healing. 1 HP. Don't put it in the water. What are you doing, child? What? You had it. You had it. It had got away. And then you just left it. What was that? It just stopped. I mean, okay, the Badger still got quite a lot of damage done. He got multiple farms, multiple warrens, and there's another one on the way. When your enemy is at your door, you don't sell the door. Classic. I believe that's actually highlighted in like bullying Pedro or something. I believe it was Pedro who... Was it Pedro or was it this guy? Actually. I mean, Child has beaten the kid when they come up against each other. So I think he's earned the right. He is king of the playground. Is his commander going to go down? Okay, good. It doesn't. Looks like Child will be able to push through. He does have a higher number of squirrels to support this. The Badger for Epicosity has only just started building, and Child can just jump onto the Warren and stop it from coming out. It's kind of surprising he hasn't already done it. Okay, Child does survive. He moves on to face me with his 1 life. Finally, someone I can actually kill. Haven't managed to get a kill yet. What do you mean spoiled that? Obviously you beat Kid, or you wouldn't be in stage 4. Alright. James. And James is actually doing pretty badly on lives as well. Only with 2 lives. Epicosity could claim another scalp. I believe it was actually... Was it the kid who managed to take lives off James? Yeah, he retreated to the mill. You can't retreat against Badger, especially when the Badger's revved up. And over water and into warrens. It doesn't work. Alright. Epicosity with his usual quadruple tier 3 deck, and James with actually the same. I fucking hate moles. Classic. I now hate moles for entirely different reasons though. I've gone from hating moles for being too strong to hating moles for being too weak. Moles were really annoying though. And it was worse for me because I was fucking stalked by this guy at the height of his power. Like I was traumatized by moles. Our battle will be legendary. I mean, it's quite hard for me to actually win games sometimes. I'm finding in this that because the decks are random, like completely random, it can be difficult for me to actually win. because I don't get the advantage of catching my opponent off guard with my randomness, since the decks are mirrored. The Tosh versus Night Slayer game was... Wait, was it Tosh versus Night... Was it Night Slayer? My games have all been pretty good, apart from the one against Legoman. I think they were all fun, but I am annoyed that I haven't actually killed anyone. I got one win against R22, and the second time I just couldn't... When we were playing Toad Wolf versus Toad Wolf, it was just impossible to press the advantage every time I would get it. Okay. So, Epicosity versus James. James hasn't scouted that tier 3. Oh no, James has. Epicosity has not scouted this tier 3. Where's the other tier 3? Oh, there it is. Right at the front. And he has seen that. So Epicosity knows about the boar, James knows about the badger, Epicosity doesn't know about James's badger. A lot of food floating coming from Epic. What's he doing? I think he's trying to see if there's a way up here. Fortunately for him, there's not. He puts down a wolf, but it's pretty late compared to James's second tier 3, which is already building. Right, Epicosity will have to hold off with just the badger and the squirrels against this squirrel ball badger push from James. As long as James doesn't massively balls up the micro, feels like he's probably pretty favoured to win this engagement. Oh, I didn't change title. Whoops, hang on. I will do that after this fight, since stuff is happening. Mainly squirrels dying, because Epicosity isn't here to micro his army. Okay, James has his badger boar combo up. He's building his own wolf. He's getting the owl. He's going to have one of each. He's also working on his third meal. Costi's got a second badger and a wolf come in. Now's a good time to change this title. Why is there tape on the wall? How many times do we have to go through this? Oh! Poor micro from James, but then poor micro from Epicosity to walk into the boar bomb. If Epicosity just managed to get that badger as well as the boar, that would have been a good trade. Is he going to try and catch up with this wolf buff badger? Looks like he is, but he's not going to make it. Now, Epicosity is a bit strapped for cash here. He's got no easy farm to take, no other mill. In fact, yeah, these are his only 2 mills really. Like, he needs to secure this position, otherwise he's just going to starve. Kind of a rough map for Epicosity, to be fair. Okay, another lack of scouting coming in from Epicosity, but he can't really afford to. He's been pinned in. He needs to wait for his third badger. The owl goes down quickly. He kills the boar. He kills the wolf. He kills the other boar. Epicosity might just win here. He's got a full health badger. And, oh my god. What a turnaround. Like, the mass badger just completely flips the table. and takes out James, who was so far ahead. Like, I was kind of writing that off. Okay, so James down to his last life. Epicosity on the verge of taking a big name. I mean, I think the owl definitely was dead weight for James. It just provided free rev for Epicosity's badges. I think maybe you want to drop the owl. Like, the owl is good insurance against Fox, but no one seems to be running Fox. Alright. It's a bit of a more even map. Still slightly James favoured. His mills are a bit forward, but they're tightly packed. Whereas Epicosity has this annoying one-tile pathway into his expansion. And his third mill is going to be all the way down here. There's no real way for James to get to that. I mean, he could come down this slope here and walk all the way through these shrubs and water. No, actually, that wouldn't get him there. He would have to go up here through this narrow pathway. So yeah, theoretically James could sneak around here. Practically though, this is blocked off. It's this open pathway here which is going to be really annoying for Epicosity. I guess he has to hold his army up here on this side, which frees up James to move up here. But of course, if James does move here, then Epicosity moves in, and because James's mills are so much closer together, that gives Epicosity a huge advantage in the base race, because it's obviously easier for Epicosity to go here to here than it is for James to go here to here to here. So a bit of early aggression by James. Just a few squirrels shooting each other. Nothing really lost, nothing really gained. Child managed to get through, but he's on his last life. James is currently on his last life after being ahead last game until Epicosity just fucking like flipped the table with 3 badges. Completely wiped out James's army, and then had 3 wolf buffed, revved up badges right in James's base with nothing to attack them. Okay, first tier 3 down is a boar. Epicosity puts down his badger not long after. It's interesting to see that people aren't going for wolf first, despite this being a mass tier 3 game, which you would normally see in multi tier 3 decks. People go for the wolf first, but here they know that they need some big powerhouse unit to defend that wolf. Okay, but not even the wolf second. Epicosity going badger boar, James going boar wolf, and then the owl. I can't imagine that owl is going to do much against a badger wolf, badger boar combo. Man, if Epicosity could get a wolf out, and he's put one down, this is the classic trio that I started triple tier 3ing with. It's a pretty powerful combination. The boar tanks, the badger spanks, and the wolf yells at them. The tanker hasn't gone yet. The tanker's next. Okay, oh dear. James comes in through this pathway. It's going to pick off 3 warrens and some pigs. Just the one? Okay, 2 warrens and a pig. It's bad for Epicosty, but it's not awful, considering he's 4 farms ahead. But James going for so many owls. I think James is making a huge mistake. He's seen the badger. He saw last game Epicosty mass badger. I think James massing the owls is a major mistake to adapt to the game mode he's in. If you were in a normal game of Tooth and Tail, that might be warranted, but he knows his opponent has massive amounts of tier 3, and he's seen the tier 3s that are good against Owl, so it's a kind of baffling decision. Still though, James now attacking from a different angle means that he's going to get some pretty good damage done before Epicosty can move his army over. The mill goes down with 4 farms still on it. The badger getting a bit far ahead there. Still though, taking a lot of damage. That's 1 owl done, that's 2 owls done. The boar's not far behind. Now it's just a bunch of squirrels. And this badger just hiding behind the boar. Like, I don't know why James keeps going for the owls. I think it's a major mistake here. Well, Fox is good against Wolf if it's also Wolf buffed. When we say Fox isn't good against Wolf, that's on the assumption that it's just Fox against just Wolf. If the Fox also has a Wolf on its side, then, you know, Fox is suddenly reasonable again. Okay, James is going to have a lot of mice, but there's so many. There's 4 badgers on the field with 2 boars to support them. These owls just get shredded. The badgers are revved up so much, so high. And yeah, James is dead. James is doo-doo dead. Epicosty takes a skull of someone who was probably pretty favoured to go quite far. Now, we move on to Tatanka, who is possibly the strongest player left at stage 4, and with all 4 of his lives rather than just 2. Wolf, Fox, Owl is the core you need, badgers aren't needed. I think that's a major mistake, gentlemen. I think you really want a badger in this composition. And I think Epicosty has won all his games off the back of Wolf Badger because it is so powerful. You know, we don't know how much the Fox would mix things up because no one's taking it still. I'm surprised there's so little Fox coming out. It's the only thing that could keep the badger in check, really. But no one's doing it. They're all going for owl and then just losing to mass badgers. Like, Fox is good at sniping tier 3s. Mostly. If you get a Badger Fox combo, you should be able to deal with Badger Wolf or the Owl stacks. People might be over scared of Owl. The Owl gets shut down hard by the Badger and pretty well by the Boar. Honestly, Wolf Squirrel can hold off more owls than you might suspect. Okay. So Epicosti is in green this time, and he's going with his favoured deck as usual. The tanker dropping the ball for the arty, but otherwise it's the same. We still haven't seen the arty really be any use. And Epicosti looking for an angle here. He's only one farm behind, so he can't get much army advantage, so it looks like he won't be able to get much done. Is this going to be an arty game finally? You put an arty somewhere over here would actually be pretty alright, since Epicosti has to come through this pathway. Well, I guess there's this one tile path here off to the side. But if you put it in the middle, then that's blocking off both ways. I still don't think arty is good, but it does do a lot of damage. If your opponent miss micros and doesn't dodge the shots effectively, then it can burst down a tier 3 unit. Badgers do just die over time, but the badger gets its damage done so quickly that the time taken to kill it is basically the badger's getting the damage done before it runs out of health consistently, because Wolf Badger is just so powerful, and you can actually make them last a surprising amount of time by pairing them up with squirrels, boars and owls, or even just having the wolf to tank for it. Like, the wolf gives it an extra 50 health, the boar gives it an extra 100. Well, we're just going to have to disagree, gent, because I think the badger is absolutely essential. I would not dream of going into this matchup without a badger. Okay, we see the first. We do have an artillery down. It's quite defensive. Like, barely pokes out beyond this mill. Tankers get a Wolf Badger. Epicosti is one tier 3 ahead, but a few farms behind. Very spaced out tier 3 warrants as well. So the Wolf is going to struggle to actually buff them all up. Tanker getting a nice scout. Missed the Badger, but has got everything else. Epicosti saw the original two. Didn't see the owls, but they went down after he'd left. So you can't really blame him for that. And again, players trying to mass owl against wolf or badger. I don't see it going well. This is such a mistake. Like, mass owl is fine in the regular meta because badger is pretty rare. Badger, boar, wolf, like combos of tier 3s with badger, is even more rare. But just having, they're almost guaranteed in this type of matchup, which makes the mass owl significantly worse. Epicosti is going to have 4 badgers out. Maybe it can get overwhelmed by 7 owls, but I'm less sure. Now, Tatanka does have his own badger, so with all of this tanking for it, maybe his badger can gun down Epicocities. And 30 squirrels is quite a lot going into an artillery and 7 owls. The arty doesn't go down either. Okay, the owl's actually starting to pay off. Especially since this artillery is now getting some real value. Epicosti is actually losing this. He doesn't have enough to cut through all of these mice. The mice are spawning from the wolf buffed owls faster than Epicosti can destroy them. Definitely went for too many squirrels there. Okay, Epicosti is still a few farms ahead, but he's so far behind on tempo. Like, the tank is going to move in now and probably just, like, this mill goes down before the badgers can even destroy it. And it looks like the tank is going to keep going. Finally, the mass owl strat works. And the tanker moves on to face me with all 4 of his lives. I think the tanker is the only one to have all 4 of his lives. Like, he's kept his lives the longest. Well, I guess Kolaru actually has done it as well. James is out. Avalu, Legoman, and R22 didn't have... Or this guy, they didn't have 4 lives. Night Slayer's now at 2. I don't know who took them off him. It might have been Meek. Mass Owl beats anything. Mass Owl doesn't beat enough. I mean, Mass Owl beats 30 Squirrel. If those 30 Squirrels, that's... Let's see. How much is that? That's 60, 120... per 3, so that's 1,200 food in squirrels. 1,200 divided by 360, that would be like another 3 to 4 badgers. And I think if Epicosti had been at 7 badgers, he probably would have won. But maybe not. Like, the mice damage does ramp up pretty quick at that point. Still though, we move on to stage 6. Actually, maybe we should save this. Wait. Oh no, wait. That's stage 6. Yeah, we should go. I was thinking it was stage 7. I was thinking it was exactly the opposite of what it actually was. Now, R22, I believe, is on 1 life. Does he get lives back? It says he's at 1. The final boss must be beaten twice. The final boss cannot be skipped. Players cannot keep the same unit 2 games in a row. Non-badger tier 3s are banned. So, boar, no owl, no wolf, no fox. Man, I've got such a low score. I've only got 16% win rate. It's very bad. Anyway. No, R22 has to beat Meek twice, and Meek just has to beat R22 once. It's not good for him. Well, in my defense, I'm not getting any of the easy players. Alright. A moment. In the game. Or do you mean in real life? Real life, I had to do a test for a work position I was applying for, and I don't think it went great. But we'll have to see. It might have been a design to fail test as well, just to see how well you can do. Say it's impressive for Tatanka, you completely ignore Kolaru. I think it's more impressive Kolaru managed to get through. Although actually Kolaru didn't face Tatanka. Sorry, Kolaru hasn't fought Epicosta yet, has he? Anyway, we should talk about this because Meek is doing stuff. Meek has effectively proxy milled R22 with triple defensive structures. R22 needs to go straight for a snake. Like, he can't squirrel his way through this at any reasonable sort of cost. But he's already lost 3 farms. This is not where you want to be if you're R22 and on your last life. Oh, but Meek sells? Why? I mean, I guess he didn't need to keep it up. Okay, Meek is able to get his defenses up. R22 is trying to push. The only thing he has going for him really is a tempo, but that's running out quick. He can't find a good angle on these machine guns, and if he just loses a few squirrels, the lizards will run in and take him out. Selling one Warren to get up to 8 farms is I think the right choice. We haven't gone through the decks yet. Lizard, ferret, skunk, snake, machine gun balloon against squirrel, pigeon, cam snake, badger, wire. So Meek clearly going for his contained deck, but when he had it working, he sort of just gave up on it. Now R22 needs to burrow back so he can defend against this. He's going to pick off a few lizards. Meek going for the squirrel, the skunks will help him a lot with the squirrels. This is a tough map for R22 to try and avoid being lizard rushed on. Meek can go around here, come in this angle, come in up here, or take the really long path around there. So there's a lot of ground for R22 to cover. He does have the wire, which will help somewhat, but it's not a magic fix-all. Still, Meek did lose a few lizards there, but his massive greed has put him way ahead in eco. He's still keeping R22 pinned in with these lizards. Especially when you're already behind, you're really nervous about falling further behind. So R22 is very worried about these 6 lizards, because he doesn't want stuff like that to happen. That's 3 farms for 3 lizards. It's a pretty big trade. Now R22 is going to try and push, perhaps? He might have to here. I don't think he should be going into the machine guns. He should probably just come straight round and start on these farms. He doesn't quite get the cam out. He does get the machine gun, but it's not a great trade for R22. And he's very far behind on eco. He is now half the eco of Meek. He's never scouted down here. This ninja base for Meek is working out so well because the lizards just keep R22 perpetually pinned in and prevent him from getting a full scout of the map. He's only just managed to come in and see the snake. Now Meek has every other mill on the map. Well, actually, apart from this one. Yeah. The 6 lizards scared him too much. Like, that was... Because the 6 lizards couldn't really base race, that was his only opportunity to really push. Also, if you see Meek with fewer lizards than he had at the beginning, it means he's either 8 farmed somewhere or building a tier 3. So that is your moment to strike. Like, there's no way R22 can win the long game here. The cams come in and manage to pick off a Warren, but they get decloaked and caught out. One of them is going to get away, but pretty injured. I mean, that's 1 cam for 1 Warren. It's not a good trade. And since R22 hasn't seen this mill, he might think he's actually even. I don't think he will. He'll have seen that Meek just has so much stuff. And just as he sends his cams down on a mission, Meek decides to attack. And now the wire is actually kind of a hindrance for R22. It slows down his units as he tries to chase off these ferrets. But the ferrets are completely unbothered by it. They can just shoot over. And now Meek is just so overwhelmingly ahead an army. That wasn't a particularly good engagement from either side, but Meek just had so much numbers. And that's going to be R22 dying. He's the furthest death so far, making it all the way to stage 6. But he is unfortunately dead. And that means I think we've only got 1 more game left. It's kind of a bloodbath tonight, isn't it? But it was inevitable that we'd be reaching that point. Like, attrition is getting to players. So now we are at Night Slayer on stage 7. Challenger's live count are reset to 2 before facing the extra boss. I think he might have had 2 lives anyway, but okay. The extra boss must be beaten 3 times. The extra boss cannot be skipped. Deck size must be decreased between each round, starting at 6. Mandatory mirror decks. So we start game 1 with Toad, Ferret, Cam, Boar, Mine, Arty. Then we go to Lizard, Toad, Boar, Badger, Balloon. Then we go to Squirrel, Badger, Boar, Balloon. And finally it's Toad, Ferret, Arty. So we just keep going with those decks until one of the players are dead. Oh, I forgot to update the boss. Whoops. Sorry, Meek. Got so used to Epicosti being there. And actually, I can put how many lives the boss has. Yeah. He has 3. Alright. Let's go. Okay, so Toad, Ferret, Cam, Boar, Mine, Arty from both players. Now, the Toad only is tier 1, creates a interesting choice. You probably want to rush up straight to tier 2. Go straight to Cams. No units here that can hit falcons or pigeons, but neither player has falcons or pigeons, so that doesn't actually matter. Map wise, a little bit Melvin favoured, as he's got 4 mills on his side as opposed to Night Slayer's 3. And I also think it's easier for Melvin to get an arty up, since he has this double high ground. Because Night Slayer, he either has to put his arty back behind this mill, or he has to put it on the low ground. And he doesn't have any way for the arty to get vision up here anyway. Whereas Melvin, if he can just take this mill, stick an arty on this double high ground, he can actually put quite a lot of pressure in here and start creeping. And he only needs to go arty here, then arty on the single high ground, and then he's completely shut Night Slayer out of this third mill. So Night Slayer is going straight to cams. Melvin was going for double toads, but now is going for cams as well. I didn't see if Melvin scouted these mines. Four cams for both players. It is going to have to be a two-base push, really, isn't it? In fact, the more you look at this map... Okay, that's 3 toads for 3 toads. Nothing gained, nothing lost. The more you look at this map, the worse it kind of gets for Night Slayer. Because even this space is kind of hard for him to take and actually hold. Which means practically he's really only got the one expansion. And we're about to hit the 3-minute mark, so he's already used up half his time on this mill. He's just trying to mass chameleons. But, I mean, how will they fare against Melvin's toads? Toads can do well against mass chameleon. Since it's very easy, since the cams like to clump up, it's very easy to hit all chameleons at once. And this fight is going super well for Melvin. The toads get some quick burst damage, plus Melvin had, I think, more cams anyway? Maybe not, but his cams weren't injured. Plus Night Slayer was trying to move his back and forth to get a positive engagement and avoid the toads, so Night Slayer's in big trouble here. He doesn't have an expansion, he's down 2 farms, he's not really ahead on army, and Melvin has a ball on its way. Okay, Night Slayer able to catch out some of Melvin's cams, but he's walking into 9 toads here. He decides to retreat. He knows about the boar. He knows he can't wait. What's he planning here? It might have been ideal for him to try and hide his cams somewhere. Like, bring his cams over here and then try and go for a base race. Looks like he wants to push in again, but he's pushing in just as the boar comes up. Now, boar isn't great against cams, but oi. Okay. Melvin does lose out on that fight, but he's still got the boar here. Night Slayer's going to have to retreat. He manages to save his low health chameleon though. But he's just so far behind in economy. He needs to sell all his toads, I think. He can't really afford to replace them. Might as well just sell the other... Plus, 3 toads isn't really going to do anything against 6 and a boar. So just sell that toad, Warren. Go on, sell it. Sell the Toad Warren. Put it all into farms. Okay. Night Slayer's kind of missed his tempo advantage here. Mika's fully caught up. Mika was supply blocked on cams for a long time, but has now got them all up. However, Night Slayer is now doing pretty well on eco. He's much more even. Plus he picks off the cams again. Is this going to be a throw by Melvin? I'll wait for Tosh to be drunk before fighting him. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have tried to take Araloo while drunk. I didn't do too bad, but I definitely kind of threw it. Okay, the ball comes in, but with the cams... Okay, no, Melvin's got this now. Alright. Night Slayer down to his last life. Now the deck size shrinks by 1. We go to Lizard Toad, Boar Badger Balloon. I could have actually beaten Araloo, especially if I'd been sober. I don't remember much of the game, but I remember it was another game where only Falcons could hit Falcons, which seems to be happening a lot with my games. Happened with this guy as well. Okay. So we got some fast lizards coming from both players. Melvin a couple of farms ahead though, but down on a lizard warren. Melvin go for toads as well, splitting the difference. Night Slayer can't get any damage done with these lizards, and he's... Well, I mean, he's not going to be able to get any damage done, really. Is he? Maybe. Probably not. But he might be able to sneak in around the back here. Okay, that's 2 tier 1s for 2 tier 1s. Perfectly fine for both players. The toads aren't too great, even against lizards, when there's only 1 or 2 of them. In numbers this small, it's hard for the toads to get value. Night Slayer going for his own toads now, but that does come at the cost of selling the lizard warren. He is a bit vulnerable, and he is a farm behind, and has been a farm behind all this time. So Melvin's eco advantage is actually pretty significant. I mean, that's about 110. That's about 50 seconds worth of eco advantage. Actually, make it a minute since he was ahead slightly before that as well. Yeah, Melvin is scaling up a lot faster. I can't get the 4 farm double to work. It's a very all-in gamble, because a 5 farm single warren manages to keep up on army while climbing on eco. Okay, Melvin ecoing up very hard. Night Slayer really far behind. There's not a way in for him here. I mean, the toads blow up. He's able to get his army round, but he's not able to actually get anything done. He might have been able to pick off a farm if he microed them on, but he wanted to keep them back so they could run away. Melvin has slammed down a badger right in the corner. Economy is evening up, but I mean, Melvin's 16 farms are already going. Okay. Night Slayer has his own badger, but it's about 40 seconds behind Melvin's. Melvin going for a boar as well. This is Night Slayer's last life. He's been speedrunning the competition to get this far, but that kind of puts him at a disadvantage because he has no intel. You're actually better off taking your games last, so you can watch how other people play with these unusual decks and learn from their mistakes. Knight needs to beat Melvin 3 times. Melvin only needs to beat Night Slayer once. I mean, Melvin did need to beat Night Slayer twice, but he's already beaten him the first time, so now it's just once. One remaining life. And Melvin's still really far ahead on eco. Full saturated base now. Just being a farm ahead in that early game, let him get multiple farms ahead in the mid game, and now in the late game he's a full mill ahead. And this badger is being protected by these 2 balloons as it pokes at this mill. Melvin, Night Slayer does have his own badger out now, at the very least. He's nearly got his boar up. Is Melvin about to attack? Looks like not. So Night Slayer does get all his tier 3 up, but his boar isn't on the front lines. And his badger gets worse micro. Like, oh my god. What happened there? His badger didn't do anything. I think his badger just ran into Melvin's toads. Now this boar almost kills the badger. But Melvin's throw keeping both of his tier 3 alive and killing both of Night Slayers is a pretty devastating advantage, on top of the devastating advantage he already had of a full 8 farms, which Night Slayer has just caught up to be fair. Melvin going for a second tier 3 of both types. Night Slayer getting his tier 3s back up again. Night Slayer scouts are building tier 3 this time. I mean, this mill, kind of. Like, having it to tank was useful, but he didn't have his army together, so there was nothing for it to tank for, because he couldn't actually take the fight. And again, Melvin manages to get the army while it's split up. As the tier 3s were built, but they were still heading towards the front line. Okay, this badger is going to pick off the boar. No, don't lose that badger. Oh, he lost the badger. That was his one chance to come back into this. If Night Slayer could kill this badger and the boar with his badger, then he might have been able to roll, like pick off one of these balloons and get in and do some farm damage. But Melvin Fro has already got his tier 3 back. This first badger is still alive. This badger is an old, grizzled veteran at this point. Sitting at 3 HP. I mean, getting some health back. Probably should put it in the water, but that's a bit, you know, that's min-maxing at this point. Night Slayer has got the eco advantage finally, but it's all for naught if he can't take this mill back. As he will starve first. That badger has definitely earned the Iron Cross, the Victoria Cross, the Medal of Honor, multiple Purple Hearts. Is this badger going to survive again? Yep. No, did it? Oh, I think the badger died. Oh dear. Well, Melvin knocks out. Melvin showing why he's the final boss, knocking out Night Slayer without taking a scratch. And that is actually all of the games I've got. Still though, Night Slayer is the vanguard. He has given his comrades valuable information on how to play those decks against Melvin. We'll have to see if they are able to use it. We'll also have to see if any of the remaining challengers do manage to make it past Meek and actually get to Melvin. So far, Legoman's on 2 lives, Araloo's on 2 lives, and this guy's on 1 life. Meek could realistically kill all of them. At the moment, hang on, let's take a look at this. At the moment, it's the tanker who's looking healthiest at 4 lives. Who's going to face me. Marmu is supposed to be fighting me. Oh wait, that's a spoiler. Whoops. Forget I said that. I thought that it was a mistake that he wasn't here. I didn't know that he hadn't taken his games yet. We still got Heartseed Horus down here with 4 lives. Sassy Trashmaster, Goris, Lilith, Kerper, Haywoods, and Hezi. They're all still on stage 1. They need to get moving. No, I'm sorry, alright? He contacted me. I thought that he was further ahead. He doesn't look that good, but he is good. I kind of know what you mean. Do you have Marmu games to send me? Oh, whoops. Okay, well. We'll call it a 3-way mistake then. Or we could just blame Marmu entirely. I think I probably have to accept some responsibility, but anyway, I'm kind of just delaying the inevitable at this point. I think I need to wrap up the stream. Feels a bit early, but I mean, there's nothing else for me to do. So yeah, I guess I'll try and see you tomorrow and do something. Although there might be another person streaming an episode of this. I'm very tired. I want some tea. Yeah, a lot of these games were quite fast. Epicosity went on a fucking killing spree. I need... nah, I don't think I'll play tonight. I'm very sleepy. I haven't really managed to get decent sleep lately. It's been very intermittent. Deep but unsatisfying. Like, I'll see you guys around. I'm just blabbering on at this point. I'll see you on some other guy's stream when hopefully he's casting my games with the Tanker, Child and Marmu. And maybe some others. Maybe some not. Will Coloru make it towards me? Who knows? Will Lupus ever play his games? Who knows? Will any of these players get past stage 1? Who knows? Probably, but maybe they won't. Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Toodles.